My name's Jack Grimes, and I run a private practice in asset protection, estate planning, and small business law, serving Virginia, Maryland, DC, and New Jersey. I'm also a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force JAG Corps Reserve, where I serve in a cyber unit. So all that to tell you, I love this topic, and I'm really excited to be here today. We're going to get a little philosophical here. What is money? Because we all just trudge through our lives and accept that money exists and we can use it to buy stuff. But philosophically, what is this stuff we call money? It's important because Bitcoin purports to be money. All right, history of money. As we go through this history, you're going to see why certain kinds of money succeeded and other kinds of money didn't. There's characteristics of money that made them successful or made them fail. Money arose to solve a problem initially, as all human inventions do. And the specific problem that money solved was the inefficiency of the barter system, right? So bartering, of course, is prehistoric. It's been going on for millennia. It was a simple and intuitive way for early humans to acquire the things that they needed. Prehistoric communities were small, so it worked. But it had a very serious problem, and that problem has been defined in modern times as the problem of double coincidence of wants. For barter to work, I've got to have something you need, and you have to have something I need, of equivalent value, by the way, and we have to need them at the same time. What are the chances of that in a market that is larger than just my little prehistoric community? Some early cultures got around this problem, right, by utilizing credit. This system was insular also and based 100% on trust, which means it's not scalable. Humans across the globe all came up with the same fix. They came up with a commodity of some agreed upon value to the community, and they started using it as a medium of exchange. Different societies use different commodities for this purpose. So money is now introduced into human history. This is called commodity money. Well, commodity money, which is what we're talking about now, feather, gold, silver, these are physical things. They have their own natural ledger, right? There's only so much of that stuff. It has a finite supply, generally speaking. Over the ensuing centuries, these societies came into contact with one another, right? So they each had their own little thing. I use shells, you use feathers, whatever. They started coming in contact during trade. And what happens? Let me give you an example. Shell versus copper. Imagine two societies. They begin interacting with one another. One uses shells, the other uses copper as the medium of exchange. Copper is obviously harder to extract. It requires some advanced technology, more than you would need to collect seashells off of the beach. Therefore, the more advanced society quickly figures out how to use this technology not only to mine copper, but to more quickly gather or even reproduce seashells. It then injects this new supply of shells into the market, into the shell market, to obtain the other society's goods at almost no cost to itself. Over time, this devalues the value of the shells, rendering them almost worthless. And then copper comes in contact with something else, let's say gold later, and now copper goes away and gold is used. Why? Because each iteration of this, we find more and more characteristics of money that do a better job and sustain and last through the test of time. All right, now, metal coins, 600 BC. Metal coins, often made of precious metals like gold and silver, emerged as a standard medium of exchange. Coins were durable, portable, and easy to assess for value. Certain metals won out for others over their superior characteristics, right? Like gold has a higher value to weight ratio. It's more portable, in other words, than copper. It's also less prone to corrosion or oxidation. All of this became problematic. China introduces paper money in the 7th century. It later spread to other parts of the world. Paper money represented a claim on commodities, right? Like gold stored in a vault. Banking and promissory notes were next. So as banking developed, promissory notes were issued by banks. This is just an advanced form of credit. I told you earlier, credit was very insular in prehistoric times, and it didn't scale. Well, now we had regional, not really banks, but sort of, starting to issue credit to people. And they did it again largely on trust, but now we had a paper record of it that we could use and certify, maybe put a stamp on, and worked a little better. So now credit is starting to spread across the world. Finally, fiat currency. In the 20th century, most countries abandoned the gold standard, right, including the United States. The US made it illegal to hold gold in 1933, and then it devalued the dollar by arbitrarily increasing the value of gold during that illegal time. And then finally in 1971 under Nixon, we totally abandoned the gold standard. Fiat money has value now only because the government declares it does, and because it's useful and people have faith in its stability, not because it's backed by anything of value. So you can see this weird evolution, right? Going from something physical and useful to less so, and then now to a piece of cotton with some ink on it that people just believe has value, and so therefore it does. And so that faith is actually a big part of money. You don't necessarily have to have utility to have money, but it does have to have some kind of legitimacy. Fiat currency won out as speed became valued much more over the hardness. As things globalize, we need to be able to do things quickly. All right, then 2008, and here we go, folks. 2008 comes Bitcoin and the blockchain. So all this raises the question, what makes for good money?